Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about a game that I recently played in Hero League. And it's not focused on my play this much, but more about like snowballing in Heroes of the Storm. We currently see a lot of games that are more close because of the changes to towers and fort XP. So a lot of the XP that was in towers was moved into the forts, meaning that, for example, if you get the first objective and you get 2 towers, you don't have as much of an advantage as you had before this patch. That being said, games can now snowball out of control harder if the enemy team does well. I'm going to have a look at how this looks and what you can do, and sometimes what you can't do. And the reality is that in some situations you won't be able to actually counter a snowball for multiple reasons. In this game, our team, the red team, is going to snowball late game. Well, not even late game. We're going to snowball basically after the first curse. And there's nothing that the blue team actually can do because of their lineup, I think. So if we look at the blue team, they have everything set up pretty well. They have a Soul Lane and IRL. They have Tank Murden. They have Healer in Lucio. And they have 2 damage healers in Asmodan and Tracer. Asmodan is getting more popular. There you go. Because of his rework, but I think he's pretty weak at the moment. He doesn't do a lot on these big maps. I think he's better fitted on like Tomb of the Spider Queen where he can stack much more quickly, but also then have more ability to actually double soak the lanes by clearing 2 of them, and you can't really do that on Cursed Hollow. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit because there's nothing much happening in the first early game. I want to go through some of the points that are happening that will decide the game. So first off, the blue team will get here first blood, and you can see that even though they get first blood, the XP actually doesn't go into their favor. Kills early game are not very important. As long as you have somebody in lane soaking the XP, it doesn't really matter. And Nazeebo is still here. Alex goes to the camp. Well, this is a good idea, by the way, and you should be doing the camp. Doing it with the healer is pretty bad, and then if you do it, you have to dodge the attacks, by the way. Like, you can't just do it like she does it. Like, it's just, you know, bad execution. So now, as you can see, the red team actually is still even ahead a little bit in XP because we're clearing the waves quicker than the blue team. On the top lane, Lucio just helped IRL, which is pretty good, but they didn't get a kill out of it, so there's still people in the lane, and again, we have lanes set up everywhere. So now we're getting to a point where it's going to be interesting. Tracer's doing the camp, which is good because she's pretty quick at it. And she also doesn't take damage, so that's really easy to do, and it's really good. That being said, she is here, and what she's going to do is now she's going to finish up this camp and not take it immediately. On the other hand, our team now lost a little bit of the XP lead, mostly because there's still waves that to be cleared here. So this is basically the kill now finally factoring in after the waves are cleared at the same time by most teams. That being said, we're getting now 1 kill on Lucio, and then the Murden also doesn't get away. And he's already out of range of this minion, so he doesn't get that minion, and these 2 minions are going to die without anybody in range. So the blue team is losing a little bit of XP here. Not that much. And then you can also see our lineup here with Diablo, Suljin, and Alex Strasser doesn't really clear the waves quickly. Because Tracer is still waiting here, and look how long she's waiting until she takes it. And now she's finally moving over. And you can see we haven't even cleared the wave here. So the kill gave us a little... sorry, the 2 kills gave us a little bit of XP. But we didn't stop the blue team from actually gaining much XP. Because Tracer's coming in here. And she's getting this, and it's perfect. Also, on the side of the mercenaries, taking these here from Alex Strasser was okay. We took them a little late, so they didn't have a lot of pressure here for the bot lane. And then also the tributors on the bot lane. So these are not very powerful. On the other hand, the ones that Tracer got will actually bind my Sonya here for a very long time, because IRL makes the good move to not move away from this. So we're going to fight around here, the area, and around the mercenaries. So this is really good, what the blue team is doing. It also helps them a little bit catching up on XP. We're trying to get a tower here. This is something that you can do as long as you are safe. Even though the towers don't give that much XP, they are important to take out because it also opens the wall. Unfortunately for us, our Suljin goes down. That means the XP again is very even. And the blue team just clears up now whatever minions and mercenaries we had left. and nobody's soaking mid. So this is equal for both parts. And I'm fighting up here versus RL, which is very difficult because she's really good at one-on-one fighting. So what the blue team is not very good at is basically clearing waves quickly. We have Sonya, Nazeebo, and Suljin, so if we're all together, we clear it rather quickly, but as you can see, Asmodan, until he is stacked, his wave clear is pretty atrocious. Even with level 10, it's not very good yet. So what the blue team has to do is they have to put a lot of effort in to clear waves. And as you can see here, RL is doing a very, very good job keeping me off the mercenaries, so they actually will get a tower here, I think. I'm getting yanked. And this would have been a great kill, by the way, but I, fortunately for me, have Battle Rage, so it doesn't kill me. Okay, let's have a quick look again at how things are going. We're still even XP, 2 to 2 kills, so it's actually very even, basically equal to in all things. All lanes are again soaked by everybody, so this is really good. Nobody took the mercenaries, so there's no push while the tribute is spawning. That being said, they still had mercenaries here, so that was really good, and took out the tower because I couldn't fight against 2 people. So now though is the issue that the red team has a beneficial spawn. We are here spawning, and it's relatively easy for us to set up because we're already in the vicinity of the whole thing. I can just walk down here, and the blue team is not really set up perfectly. The healer is somewhere, they have a low tracer, Asvan is all the way to the bottom, he's teleporting back, which I think is the right move, because walking up here will probably take longer than walking over here. That being said, our Nazeebo just walks, so we'll see who arrives first. This is okay, like clearing the wave is fine. We still have like 12 seconds to go, so this actually should benefit the blue team because nobody from us will be here to soak this XP. And this is a little bit of like just brawling, and that's fine. You don't have to be very, very afraid of this. Like as a Muradin, you can just jump out. We don't have very much hard CC beside the Diablo and the Sonya. I missed my spear, so not even that. So this is an issue. She teleported back, and I don't know how much. Let's have a look. If she was really that low on everything. So I think this is a mistake. Like she's low. Obviously, she doesn't have a tap up. But I think if you walk around here and walk in here, you get close to the healer, and you have like a lot of self healing, and she has like most of her mana still there. So I think this is a mistake because this will lead to one of the situations where we just get a tribute for free, basically. Nazeebo is still trying to soak the minion wave. Obviously he wants to stack, so we have somebody who's really interested in soaking XP, which can be helpful. Alex just soaking. I'm actually worried about RL because I didn't see her teleport, so I thought she might be coming over here and interrupt from here, so I'm just going into the vision. And we have a pretty good front line here with Diablo, so I'm not very worried about that. I'm actually looking for RL now. Nothing's happening. And now Tracer goes in, and she underestimates how strong 4 people are, I guess. She thinks she can kill the Testingo, yeah, the Suljin, and move out. Here's the bye-bye and the bomb, actually. But then there's a little spider and kills her. So this is obviously high risk, high reward, and didn't work out. That being said, your teammates are fighting over here, so that's an issue. You're not with the healer, and you missed the kill. That being said, can happen. The spider obviously is unlucky as well. But now it's getting to a point where we're gonna be grabbing a lot of the advantages I'm talking about later on. So we're gonna get a couple of kills here. These are not super important because again, they still have somebody here soaking the lane, and we are missing XP here and here as well. So it's not like we're like our 2 kills here don't magically make these lanes soaked, because nobody's doing it. That being said, our Alex Dresser makes the call here to let's do boss. And with 2 people dead and only IRL and Muradin here, we don't really feel pressured by them, so we actually go for it. This is, by the way, pretty bad. You shouldn't use your D like this as a Suljin. Like, the damage is not important here on the boss, and you're just literally on 1 HP. That's really bad. Nazeebo soaking XP, that's really good. He now sees that there's a larger wave down here with Asmodan, so he's going to move down. That's a little bit of a mistake, I think. It's only 24 seconds until the next tribute spawns, and it can be an important one because it's the second one, which makes the next one trigger, right? So while it's not super important, I would always fight around these because the next one will put pressure on whoever has not taken the tribute. And you always want to be in the position that you can skip one. So for example, the second one we needed to take. This one we don't need to take, but it would be nice to take it. And if we get the second tribute here on the red team, the next one, the blue team has to fight us, no matter what happens. Or they give us a free curse, obviously. That's also a possibility. So this is pretty bad. And then also, like, if you teleport, always teleport in a bush. There's no reason for you to be in vision. Like, Irel could literally see him, I think. Where is she? There you go. So yeah, she could probably, like, if she walked a little bit more, she would see him. And then could kill him, actually, as well. So just always go into the bush if you're that low. So this is really important now. The boss doesn't do that much on minute 6, basically. It's not super strong, but it can take the front wall here. And obviously, it's also in a great position. We're lucky with the RNG here a little bit, that it's obviously topped and that we got the last fighting here and get the boss now. But this means the blue team is in a little bit of a pickle because they want to have the tribute as well, because they don't want to give up 2 in a row. And they also are, I think, worried that we get 10 for the next tribute fight, but they might not be getting 10. So they're going to try to fight both things. They're going to try to fight boss and tribute. The correct decision in this way is you have to choose one. You either fight the boss and clear it, or you fight around the tribute. What you can't do is fight around the tribute and kill the boss. It's not possible, because you split your attention. For us, we fortunately don't do the mistake. I just take the tower here because I want to get closer to level 10. But now I see that everybody of our team is here, or walking towards here. So I'm just joining them here. And now we fight around the tribute. And as you can see, like, they're so split here. They're now coming around this way. And it's way too late for Irel to be saved. And then Tracer just, like, shoots here, doesn't reload, has like half a magazine that she puts into our, like, stressor. And now everybody has to run into the stun of the boss. They even took the 2 mercenaries here. So I think the completely correct decision would have been just let the boss push. The mercenaries will take care of it a little bit with the 4 together. And then you just fight around the tribute. Unfortunately for them, we follow up on, like, this is very good Heroes of the Storm that we're playing right now from the red team. We know that this is free. We know that Asmodan is not doing anything. Our Nazeebo is contesting him, so that's really good. He can freely push. We get a kill here, and then when they retreat, we follow them because we know that the boss is taking all the shots. So the way we executed this is really well done. So you have to give credit to our team there as well. Without proper communication, no voice, we just make the right decision here. A little bit of an overchase by the Diablo here. And as you can see, the boss is pretty low. So it probably wouldn't have even taken the fort on its own. So now moving away. The Diablo wanted to fight here and pinged that we had a heroic talents advantage. That being said, we have Lightning Breath and Wrath of the Berserker on cooldown. And Nazeebo's not here. So chasing into this keep wall doesn't really do a lot. Just to keep that in mind. But let's look at the XP now. So we're now a level and a half up. And that's just because we got a couple of kills here. So we have 6 kills now, but we got the fort. And the fort gives you a lot of XP now. So this is where the snowball starts a little bit for us. Blue team here does the right thing. They just defend the boss and move on. That being said, look at this. There are 1, 2, 3 people here. Murden also all up into this way because they're a little worried that we might be fighting here on the keep wall. And this can be scary, but realistically, we have an advantage in heroic tier, so you probably want to fight below your wall anyway. You shouldn't be outside here. That being said, they probably saw Nazeebo as well, and I'm not here. They don't see vision of me, so maybe I'm... Like, they have full vision here. I don't think they're worried about me at that moment. So having 4 people here top is not worth it, because you don't need that much to defend. More important would be to take this minion wave here because you're getting closer to level 10. And then what Irel does is really good. Just go where nobody is, which is bottom. So take this. On our side of things, we're actually missing the Soak on middle. That being said, we are level 10, so Soak is not that important for us right now. We want to take more objectives. And we want to put pressure on the map for the next objective, because it's going to be the third tribute, right? So if we have like mercenaries here, if we have mercenaries going down the bottom lane, it can be very stressful for the blue team, because they have to not only get level 10, but also have to contest this tribute and then also clear all the minions everywhere. Or at least the mercenaries. So our rotation is fine. Asmodan leaving here now, I think, is a mistake. This wave will definitely give them 10, and you're going to be late to this team fight anyway. And he's not even stacked, or not even close to being stacked. So I think it's a mistake here, and this will lead to more XP lost. Like, this is a big wave. Well, it's a normal wave, but you can take this, and then you can take the next wave, who's coming here, and it's going to meet up here, right? So you get like two minion waves, probably before the tribute spawns. That being said, it's announced now. Only 25 seconds remaining, and we're on the same talent here. And this is something that, like, I have to highlight. I don't like to do this, but let's have a look at the vision of Lucio. So Lucio doesn't see anything. He doesn't see any enemies except Nazeebo. So your way to contest this tribute, which is going to be announced now, is not to walk into here. Like, this is the worst thing you can do. Never face check with Lucio, first of all, but then also so close before a very important tribute here. Don't face check. He didn't see anything, so he gets out, which is very good. It's lucky a little bit as well, but he gets out, so it's like, cool, I'm out. So what he does now, he goes back in at the same way, and that's just like suicide. Like, why would you do this? You can't fight the troll. Like, he just kills you. Nobody is supporting you. There's nobody back here. Your main damage dealer is bottom. So this is a huge mistake. Especially, again, we have a two of three tributes. So this fight is going to be important. You just earned your heroics, so you still have them. Don't do this as anybody. Like, you should never do this. So this kill basically gives us like, this gives the red team a free tribute, and that's really bad. On the other hand, I'm late on my rotation here. I took this very late because nobody else took it. But it's an important camp to take as well, because it will give us more pressure on the map. So now they're fighting 4 versus 4. It's a good decision because I wasn't there, but they don't have a healer, so they have to kill somebody quickly and then move out. Unfortunately for them, they don't kill anybody. And we have Dragon Queen out, Genjun out, and literally, like, now Iril is low, Muradin is low, these guys don't have anything to do. They can't really follow up in here. The Genjun placement is beautiful. And while Lucio's not back because the respawn timers are rather low, it's too late. We have Tribute. So this is Curse. And now look at this. My camp is still pushing here. This huge wave here that could have been pretty powerful against our wall is just going to be depleted immediately. And now we have 5 people pushing. And as you can see, because of the kills, like, we didn't soak XP that well during the last phase between tributes. But we're still basically now 1 level and only a quarter ahead. So the blue team actually caught up to us. But unfortunately for them now, we're gonna go into the whole thing as 5 pushing. So this will be down. And now look at what happened. Because of their wave clear, and again, their wave clear is not very good. Asmodan takes ages to have good wave clear. Irel doesn't have great wave clear. Her E is okay, but doesn't, like, magically make it happen. Muradin's wave clear is pretty shit. The same goes for Lucio, and then Tracer has to wait until level 13 basically to have any wave clear whatsoever. So Muradin tries to do the right thing. He knows, like, it's Curse. We're gonna, like, the red team's gonna get this. They're gonna soak this. He's gonna soak this. And somebody should be soaking top. And just give this up. Like, this should be given up. There's no reason for these 3 to try to fight around this. The cool thing again about this is my team makes the correct decision. They see, okay, these guys are retreating, Tracer is low, so there's no really risk from her. These guys are pushing forward. They're gonna go towards keep wall, and that's smart because keep wall is what we want to be, right? We want to take out the keep as quickly as possible. Again, the keep has huge XP as well, but also has catapult spawn. So if we can get catapult spawn after the first curse, it would be amazing. I'm a little late. I want to take this fort out rather quickly so the minion wave follows up us, especially the mercenaries here. So I'm a little late. I could have left maybe like 2-3 seconds earlier. Our Suljin doesn't want to wait and just gets annihilated by the Tracer. And also complain about tanks not being there in chat. Don't be this upfront. There's no reason. So this is actually very good for the blue team. They get a kill. They have soak here. They have soak here. So they're in a good position. That being said, this fort is not savable with Murden. There's no real immediate threat here for the IRL. So there's still 4 people here, and you're behind in XP, and the enemy is close to 13. So the better move would be give this up and try to defend this, because you don't want to lose keep, and you already lost a lot in this curse phase alone just from the push of the minions here. Like, this fort is dead no matter what you want to do with Murden. So they try to fight us. Unfortunately for them, their Lucio is very aggressive, and now this is really good. 4 versus 4, they go in here and try to fight us. Unfortunately for them, we have great reaction by the Aletrasa, heals herself. Asmodan doesn't really do anything at this moment, I feel like. Once his cooldowns are out, he doesn't add anything. And Sonya is actually very good in these sustained fights where she just like keeps hammering on people. So now this is lost. You should just give up. This is okay. This is done. Don't stand around here and like try to get this saved. You can't save this. If the enemy goes for core, you have to defend core, but you can't do anything here. Clear up this wave, because then you don't lose keep wall, and you should already have moved earlier. Like, this is way too late of a rotation. Your wave clear is atrocious, doesn't do anything. Come here, team fight, keep them away from the keep, and you know, especially from the core if they would move on. As you can see, Asmodan still like doesn't do a lot of damage with his Q. So now we're in the situation where we're 3 levels ahead suddenly. Like, if you remember, we were like 11 versus 12 and a half or something like that, or 10 versus 12. And now it's 3 levels that we're ahead. And this is because we took this fort, we took this keep, and now we're 3 levels ahead. I'm sure we also got a couple of kills here, again, but the kills don't give you that much XP. The buildings are what are the main XP contributor here. And you can see that because, I mean, they got a kill on the Suljin, right? But didn't do anything. So now this game will completely snowball out of hand. So we already got the keep here, which is a big issue for a lot of Hero League players. Like, as soon as they lose a keep, they lose any motivation to continue playing. There's still a huge wave going here. So the blue team does actually everything correctly. Like, they have somebody here, they soak here, they have 2 dead. So this is fine to be pushing into the core. As long as the mercenaries are cleared up before the core loses shields, it's fine. Unfortunately for them, and this is what I mean, where like sometimes you don't have anything to control the snowball. It's just not possible, because the decision making is correct. Take the wave, clear these here, soak more XP, try to get more towards 13. But unfortunately for them, their wave clear is so bad. Look at this. This is a minion wave. Like, she dies, obviously that's bad, but like, they do the right thing. They want to defend this keep because there's only 3 people here, so it's the correct decision. But unfortunately for them, they lose another keep here because they don't have any wave clear. There's nothing that they can do here. And then we just take another objective. This is like snowball-y in the worst way. Like, we have 2 people that can solo a boss basically. We took another keep with 3 people. There's the only way that the enemy team can go to any of our buildings now is top, because there's already like keep down here, so there's no way that you push all the way to these forts. So to stop the snowball now, you would need to fight when you get 13 before we get 16. But that's gonna happen because you are like still like a half a level away, and we're actually much closer to this than you. Now Nazeebo goes top and actually soaks more XP for the red team. While the red team takes more and more objectives. So we take this objective, we're going to move on to go over, take this objective. And then our Suljin actually makes a mistake here and take this wall. This is not necessary. Like, I like killing walls as well, but like this is completely unnecessary. And now this is the perfect time. There are 4 people here. Sure, there's a boss pushing down here, but take this kill and you're gonna have a good time. Because you're gonna have more ways to interact with things. Unfortunately for them, he just escapes and then just uses Tastingo and is saved and gets the heal and is saved. So Lucio just gave up at this point, I guess, which is fair because, again, this is a very bad game to play. But I just want to point out, this is exactly why some games just feel so bad, because they can snowball so hard. But it's not that Heroes of the Storm doesn't allow you to get back in these games. It's just that in some situations, there's just better execution on one team, and then really like a draft that doesn't do a lot. And we've talked, like on this channel, I talk a lot about wave clear and the way that people should set up their teams with, you know, a mage and an auto attacker and everything. And the blue team did this, right? They have a mage, they have an auto attacker, they have a healer, they have a tank, and they have a soul laner. But none of these people are really good wave clearers. And on the other hand, we don't have amazing wave clear. Like, honestly, like, we don't have huge, great wave clear, but we have at least one person who's really good at wave clearing because he's interested in wave clearing. Like, Nazeebo really wants to wave clear because he wants those stacks. Now we take just like the third keep. And just like in general, also we just have better wave clear. Just want to point that out. It's not that we have horrible wave clear, not as bad as theirs, but it's not that we have, you know, amazing wave clear. And then this is like, you're fighting 4 levels down into 5 people. There's not much that you can do against this. At this point, the game is just over. We got all the keeps. There's this boss got cleared, but there's still like catapults onto your core, and you just lose everybody. And this is something that, like, obviously I could just say like, hey, I played amazing here. Like, if I look at my stats, I didn't die. I have great like damage everywhere. Like, it's very balanced. I have lots of XP soaked. Amazing. Like, I'm like 3rd in damage. Only Soldier is higher, and he died 3 times. You know, like I've done a good job. I could have said like, well, look at this game. I'm so good at Heroes of the Storm. But it's not about this. I would want to say that sometimes you will have games that snowball this hard against you, and you feel like super devastated. You will like, I don't know what I should be doing better. I've been playing super well. Let's have a look at their team. So, for example, the Azodan. Highest siege damage, highest hero damage, highest XP soaked. Not a lot of, like, he was even there for all of the kills, and I mean, they only have 3, so it's not a lot of kills that they got in overall. But like, even on the side of deaths, they only have 4 deaths. Obviously, like 11 minutes, that might look a little bad. But that being said, we just also cleared them again here. So 4 is not really, you know, realistic number. But you might look at this game as Asmana and say like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I play my very best, and I don't know how to win these games. And the reality is that sometimes you just can't win these games anymore. Like, early game was very close, very even. And then you have these situations where you have just bad luck in some situations as well. Like, you fight around this tribute here, and your decision making is pretty bad. Like, you come late, and then you still go in, and then you lose a couple of people that get chased over here, and then we take the boss. So I think a lot of times you just have to ask yourself, what can I learn from this game? And the reality here is that if, like, I don't know, I can't remember the pick, like, who picked what when. But if you look at this, I remember that Arel was picked very last. I think she was the really the last pick against me. And I know that many people say like, well, Arel is the best soul laner. She's winning every lane by just out-sustaining the opponent soul laner, and that's totally true. Like, I mean, you've seen this is the only lane that they got tower. They actually did very well here. The issue though is with the last pick of Arel. Sure, you counter Sonya in the solo lane, but what else does she bring? She doesn't bring any wave clear to their team. You bring basically displacement. That being said, if you want to displace Suljin, he's going to attack you 5 times, which gives him a stack. Alestressa might be a good target. Nazeebo might be a good target to displace, but both of them are relatively safe and with a tanky front line. So you might want to separate the front line with the other guys. But overall, realistically, you don't really do anything. You don't help Asmodan stack. You don't have very good mercenary clear here with these heroes. And you have a healer that struggles himself to stay alive. So I think if you are the last pick and you're like, hey, I have the solo lane, and I know that IRL wins every solo lane, that might be the wrong decision making. And that's something that you just have to learn by playing the game and understanding drafts. I'm not saying like the blue draft is like horrible. I think it's an okay draft, but it also means that these guys don't know what their win conditions are. Like Asmodan stacking means late game. Tracer, sure, she's pretty good overall, and also her early game is pretty okay. But then Merlin gets only stronger late game. Like his early game can be pretty weak, and then RL, she doesn't really do anything early lane except winning the solo lane. I think she doesn't do a lot after that. And then Lucio, he definitely needs late game as well. So we have 2 late game, or maybe 3 late game heroes with 2 okay early game heroes that don't have any wave clear. And I don't want to harp too much on wave clear because as you saw, like the game was pretty even. Like everybody was soaking all the lanes, and then suddenly their boss spawns or gets captured. We take this fort, and then suddenly it snowballs basically from here on out. But just keep in mind that because one game snowballs and it doesn't go your way, or it goes very badly, doesn't mean that you're bad at the game. It doesn't mean that your teammates are bad at this game. It doesn't mean that that the game is bad. Heroes of the Storm is very complex, and knowing everything and knowing all the little details is really, really helpful. But sometimes you're just going to draft with 4 random people in your team, and the draft's going to suck. I think this happened just in this game. Like the draft just couldn't deal with the snowball that we had, and that's just going to happen in some games. And what the important thing about these is that you try to understand why they snowballed, and I mean in this case, it literally was because we were pushing so much harder than they were. And then adjust to the next time that you're playing. So if you're the last pick, so then maybe pick something that has more wave clear. Or if you're the one that wants to play Asmodan really badly, maybe see if he's actually good at the moment. Like if you're, if you put 20 games into him after his rework and you think like he's super strong, go for it. But realistically, a lot of people in Hero League just play what they want to play. Like they just want to play one hero, and that's what they want to play. And I think if you're one of these people that says like, oh, I just want to play Tracer, I just want to play Genji in Hero League, this mindset will lose you probably more games than it will help you. And don't get me wrong, like one-tricking heroes is possible, and you might have like a good win rate even on something. So I don't want to say like, oh, you can't do this. But I think if the mindset is, I want to play this certain role, it's much easier to adapt to things. Obviously, the role has to be kept in check. Like you can't have like, oh, I want to play assassin, and then you have like 20 assassins that you want to play. It's more about if you want to say, I play assassin, you have like 3 assassins that are really good, and they do different things. So if you have a Genji, for example, who is really good at killing things, like the Tracer here in this game, that's amazing. But also have an assassin that can wave clear, that can take mercenaries. There's just an overall around good hero like Greyman, for example. He's not very popular in like pro play at the moment, except for a couple of teams, but he can bring things where it's like wave clear, mercenary killing, and everything like that. Because if we look at what we did in this game, we're actually pretty even. Like Nazeebo and I do a lot of siege damage here, and Asmodan is actually trying to do the same thing. But it's not about like raw numbers in this case. It's just about what these numbers do. Because if you look at Asmodan, this is mostly minions. Like he just killed a lot of minions. Because again, there's no damage here done to these things. So you have to understand what your job is. And as Asmodan, your sieging job just gets more difficult as the other team has a strong early game. And on our side, for example, when we drafted, if you look at Nazeebo, he actually is at 124 stacks at 11 minutes. That's really, really good. Like he just needs a couple more waves, and he has it before level 20. So understanding your role and your job in a draft is really important. And again, as the last time, I want to say this: sometimes maps or games just snowball and you lose, and that's just going to happen. Don't be like super upset about this. And on the other hand, if you win a snowbally game, don't feel like this wasn't an enjoyable game because we just steamrolled. It just happens sometimes. I think people overestimate how easy it is to snowball. Like I think they're like, oh yeah, my games always snowball. When realistically, from my experience, it doesn't snowball like this. It doesn't snowball like 4 levels ahead in 11 minutes. That for me, that rarely happens. But these games always feel really bad. Like as a loser of the game, it feels bad, and as the winner of the game, you don't feel like super enthusiastic about them either. So just like remember that sometimes you just can't do anything against this, and just check mark on this game. That's done, and move on. I hope this video helped you a little bit understanding how snowballing happens sometimes, and that draft is important, even though it's not important in Hero League. While you can draft everything, sometimes what you draft will lose you the game, and that can just happen. If you have any tips about drafting, or if you have a lot of games that are very snowbally and you want to know why, just put questions in the comments and I try to get back to you. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, have a good one. Bye-bye.